All right, guys, we're going to show you how to take a nice, cheap Danielson crab trap and make it a whole lot better. Stay tuned. All right, let's check out our gear list here. We got a crab trap, crab harness, which I've already attached. And you can buy all kinds of different ones of these. We got rope and a buoy. We got a smaller buoy, our bait bag, our pipes, threaded caps. We're gonna fill these with sand. We'll show you how to do that here in a little bit. And we got our zip ties, tape and flagging for attaching everything, and then some lead core fishing weights that we're gonna weight the doors down and keep them from swinging open. And then we're gonna make a small adjustment to the doors. We're gonna cut off the bottom so they don't get caught up in the eel grass. All right, let's get to this.
All right, guys, so we have the one end of the cap screwed on the PVC, and now Jerry's just filling the PVC up with sand using a funnel, and you're just going to fill it up almost to the top. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just play sand is all it is. I bought it from the hardware store. Is like $6. You can use paver sand, you can use whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Sand is heavy, so you can even go get it from the riverbank if you want, but this was more convenient for us, so we just bought a bag. So you could glue these on if you want to, but we don't think it's really necessary. You're not really worried about these caps unscrewing after use. And one of the reasons why we're using the PVC instead of rebar or something is that at times rebar underwater in salt water, if it's getting hit by sand, can actually create an electrical current, and you can get what's called a hot pot. So instead of using rebar, we're going to use PVC filled with sand as weights for these pots. And the reason why it's important to use weights in these pots is because there's a lot of volume, but they're super light. So what'll happen in a current, if you don't have anything weighting it down and a good strong outgoing current or incoming tide, these pots will actually raise up and move across the bottom of the bay or wherever you're crabbing and create what's called a walking pot. So this will help anchor it to the bottom.
That's it. All right, here we go. Next step.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do to modify this pot is these pots are actually designed to fold down flat for storage, and we'd never do that. We pretty much just set these things up and then we just leave them as boxes because it's a lot easier in the long run. But these sidewalls can get kind of flimsy, and after you use them for a while, you can have some issues with the doors propping open or in these clamps coming undone, just all sorts of weird stuff. So basically what we've done is we've designated this side over here to be the opening door, and we're going to use that same door to put bait in and to pull crabs out all the time. So the rest of the sides, we're actually going to just zip tie them shut and just leave them shut for the duration. That way you never have to worry about these doors popping open on you in the current or when you're pulling them up or doing anything like that. So we got these all zip tied open or shut, and then that's our door that we're going to leave open. So it's pretty easy to tell which one is going to stay open. But if you want, you can just put a little bit of orange flagging or yarn or something on that door so you remember which one it is. And then also, if you do have issues with the door that you designate as your opening door, you can buy like a twist tie, a rubber twist tie, and just use that as a temporary fasten to keep that door shut. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do, these doors have actually come a long way. They're a lot better than they used to be. But one of the problems you have with these Danielson doors is these pegs on the bottom, they stick down way too far. So what happens if you drop this on the bottom of the bay and it happens to be some eelgrass down there, then these tags will get caught up in the grass or kelp or anything that's down on the bottom. It can actually keep it from opening when the crabs are starting to get in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut these off right here along the bottom. And it used to be that this peg right here was not long enough to keep this door from swinging wide open. So we used to put a hanger across the bottom of this, but that's not necessary anymore. So we're just gonna cut these off. All right, so now we're going to zip tie these weights that we made to they're going to go in all the corners over here, except for the side where the door opens. You're just going to zip tie it onto the side of the crab pot, the inside, so the door can still shut. All right, there we go. We got all 4 weights zip tied in the corners. The access door still works, and we're looking pretty good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add some weight to the door. They actually sell weights that you can buy and add to these. I don't know how much they cost, but what we usually just use is some pencil lead, and we'll just zip tie it, and that'll make sure that this doesn't swing open like this in the current, because it's pretty light. So we'll just add some extra weight and it'll hold it down, but the crabs will still be able to push through. All right, guys, so the only thing we have left to do is we're going to add a bait bag. And over the years, we've kind of just swapped out the metal bait boxes or the plastic bait boxes and switched to these mesh bags because they seem to just do better. I think the crabs can get after them and chew on them a little bit better, and it creates more scent down in the water. So they're pretty cheap. That's what we use. We just pretty much just use these mesh bags anymore. And now we're going to add our rope and our buoy, and then this crab pot will be ready to go. So normally we add this extra buoy right on top of the harness. It'll help keep the harness from piling up on top of the pot when it's down on the bottom. However, this time we actually bought leaded rope. So leaded rope will prevent your rope from floating on the surface and getting caught in props and stuff. So overall it's better. It costs a little bit more. So we're not actually sure how well this will work as far as floating the harness up, or if it's just going to sink down anyway, but we figure it's worth a try. You might as well add it. They're pretty cheap, so we're just going to add it to this one just like we do all the other ones. All right guys, and don't forget to zip tie your tag end. That'll make sure your knot will never come undone or anything like that. Just a little extra safety precaution. All right.
Just want a nice big knot so that it can't slide through the hole in your buoy there. And then again, zip tie for safety. Like so. There you go.
All right guys, and what we'll probably actually do eventually is on that end of the buoy, we'll probably add another section of about, I don't know, 6 to 10 feet of regular nylon rope that floats, and we'll put a second buoy on there. So most of the time we run 2 buoys, but just for demonstration purposes, we're just gonna put this one on there for now, but probably eventually we'll add another section of rope on top of that that'll float. Okay guys, so we got this thing all set up, and then so this is the door that we designated to be the opening door, and after you bait it and you drop it down, typically we'll just throw one of these I don't know what they are, rubber twist ties. You can get them at Cabela's or whatever, and they're actually really nice, and that'll just keep your door shut, and that's just about it. This thing's ready to start crabbing now.
All right, so there we go guys. We got a crab trap on sale for 16 bucks, and for less than 20 bucks, we ended up just making this thing 100 times better. So you could probably even go cheaper yet if you have the stuff laying around. So try this, see what you think. You went from a really lightweight, movable crab trap to one that's gonna hold up in better current. So let us know what you think, and thanks for watching.